Heights, and it's the oldest subway station in town, built between 1910 and 1913 in modern art style. Vorne links ein großer Bogen. Fahren wir so on the left side, a huge bow. Dieser Bogen ist ein Geschenk des französischen Premierministers Chirac. Er hat ihn mit nach Berlin gebracht, als in der Stadt Wald im letzten Jahr zum Beginn der Tour de France. Wir müssen jetzt schauen, was mit ab. Berlin is one of the largest towns on the continent, got 8,830,000 square meters, 480 square kilometers in Berlin West and 403 square kilometers in Berlin East. Percentage 55 to 45. 1913 war das preußisches Kammergericht. 1940 wurde es zum Volksgerichtshof jenes berühmt-berüchtigt grausamen Roland Freisler. Mehr als 4.000 Menschen wurden hier zum Tode verurteilt. 1945 wurde es zum Sitz des Alliierten Kontrollrates. Bis 1948 wurde ganz Deutschland von diesem Gebäude aus regiert. Dann haben die Sowjets den Kontrollrat verlassen. Deutschland wurde geteilt, er hat an seiner Bedeutung verloren. Aber 1971 hat man hier wieder was Großes getan. Da hat man das Vier-Mächte-Abkommen unterzeichnet, was nicht nur den ersten Schritt zur Anerkennung der DDR bedeutete, sondern das auch das Leben in bzw. das. In diesem Gebäude gibt es 485 Räume, nur noch 30 davon. The place where on April the 30th of 1945 Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun committed suicide. War es der modernste Bahnhofsbau seiner Zeit. When this was built in the last century, it was one of the most modern railway buildings at its time. Schwer zerstört im Zweiten Weltkrieg. Der letzte Zug vor 1952, 1959 hat man die Halle gesprengt. Philharmonie 2200 Sitzplätze. Der Kammermusiksaal, wie der Name schon sagt, eine wesentlich intimere Atmosphäre, nur 1132 Sitze. Das Brandenburger Tor wird in 3 Jahren 200. Geburtstag haben. Es ist eine Nachbildung der Propyläen. Das soll die ersten gewesen sein, die Berlin eingefallen sind, am 28. April 1945. The two tanks, T-34, shall be the first arriving in Berlin on April the 28th of 1945. Das Ehrenmal wird bewacht von 2 Kadetten der Militärakademie Moskau und Leningrad. The memorial is guarded by 2 cadets of the Military Academy of Moscow and Leningrad. Das sind 2 von 20, die jeden Tag von der Grenze hierher gebracht werden und zurück, begleitet von britischer Militärpolizei. These are 2 epochs of German history started at this building. 1918 rief der Sozialdemokrat Philipp Scheidemann die Republik von Weimar von seinem Fenster aus. Zur selben Zeit hat dies ein anderer in einem anderen Teil Berlins. Vor uns der große Stern mit seiner Siegessäule, in front of us the Great Star with its Victory Column. Geschaffen 1873 als Erinnerung an die Kriege gegen Dänemark, Österreich und Frankreich. Created in 1873 as a commemoration for the wars against Denmark, Austria and France. rechts ein Mercedes-Stern und rechts hat ein Mercedes-Star on the building. Das ist der Starter Avus der Rennstrecke der Berliner. This is the start of the Avus, the racing course of the Berliners. Wird allerdings nur noch zweimal im Jahr als Rennstrecke benutzt. It's only used twice a year as a racing course. Soll übrigens Ende des Jahres entfernt werden, weil die Wilmersdorfer sagen, das ist so scheußlich. Die Wilmersdorfer Witwen hätten gerne ein paar Röslein hier gepflanzt, aber die sind gut verkehrt. This sculpture will be removed at the end of the year because the widows of Wilmersdorf don't like it. Nicht verrostet das Gegenstück, der ostdeutsche Wertarbeit. Not rusted the counterpart because he's German masterpiece. Vor uns ab. Im Trabant sitzen zwei Puppen. Das eine ist ein Sowjet, der liest das Time Magazine. Das andere ist ein Amerikaner, der liest die Pravda. Two puppets are sitting in that Trabant. One is an American reading the Soviet newspaper Pravda. The other one is a Soviet reading the Time Magazine. Vorne rechts eines der typischen Eckgebäude für das alte Berlin. Vor dem Krieg gab es noch 250 von diesen Häusern mit den Türmen. Nach dem Krieg war nicht genug Geld da, die Türme wieder aufzubauen. Man musste also warten bis in den letzten Jahren. Erst jetzt Berlin reich genug, erst jetzt.
We have entered Friedrichstraße, one of the most fashionable residential areas of pre-war Berlin, but a heap of ruins after World War II, closing the gaps caused by the bombs of Second World War's focal point of reconstruction. As you can see, the biggest building site of our city at the moment, Friedrichstraße. Left is a house of Soviet culture and science. It is a new building. It contains a lot of exhibitions about the Soviet Union. Nice restaurants are inviting too. Friedrichstraße is to become the most attractive business street of the city. At the moment, the street is not the best impression, but I hope it will change soon. So now I like to show you the square of Academy, the former Gendarmenmarkt, one of the most beautiful squares of Europe before the war, but also heavily destroyed in World War II. You see on the right the French Cathedral, and we like to go a little bit around here, and I want to come a little bit closer to the square of Academy. I want to show you the buildings in detail. Next you will see in some seconds Friedrich Werder Church, a church built up at the beginning of the last century by Karl Friedrich Schinkel. Now to be seen left, a red building. Schinkel, by the way, was the most important architect of German classicism. He shaped the face of Berlin with his splendid buildings, and you will notice this on our way later. By the way, this church was also a complete ruin after the war and was finished last year. And inside, it's not a real church now. It is being used as an exhibition hall inside, and you can inform yourself about Schinkel and his time. Schinkel was not just an architect, he was also a designer, a painter too. So now let's approach the square of Academy, and you will see next the playhouse by Schinkel, dating back to the year 1821. It was reconstructed according to the original blueprints by Schinkel. Outside and inside was finished 3 years ago in its original style, and is now not a theater but a concert house. It's a nice building just in front to be seen. Inside there is a concert hall which admits some 1,700 people. Chamber music hall too, to admit some 400 people. The functional building in the back, which houses the conservatory. Now you can see it very well here, this beautiful building. We Berliners enjoy this building especially very much. Day by day we were able to watch the reconstruction starting from the ruin. Just like this, which you can see in the back left hand, the ruin of the former German cathedral. Built up around the year 1700 for the Protestant people, reformed by Luther. A similar building, like the German cathedral, and built up at the same time, we have already seen the French cathedral in front left-hand side. It was built up for the Huguenots. The Huguenots were French Reformed Protestants who emigrated from France to Berlin at that time. They influenced the whole way of Prussian lives. They built their own factories, their own schools, and their own churches. And the church itself, the building with the red roof, was completed 5 years ago, and it is being used as a real church for the Protestant people. The tower, in contrast, in front of the ensemble, was just decoration in the past. After completion last year, now the inside is being used. You can find inside the Huguenot Library, the Huguenot Museum. There's also a little wine tavern, and you can also climb up the 254 steps it pays. You see, on top there is an outside platform, and you have a magnificent view to the historic part of the city. It's recommendable to go upstairs. The center in the city is not just famous for its many museums. We have a total of 25 museums. It's also famous for its many theaters. I'd like to show you immediately one. On the right you see here a remarkable building. It is a new Grand Hotel. It was opened last year for 600 people, a 5-star hotel. And now here on the right, the theater, the comic opera house. It is a realistic music theater which achieved international reputation under the direction of Walter Felsenstein. We have altogether 2 halls. On top of it, the Quadriga. It is a copy. The original by Rauch was completely destroyed. Heavy fighting in the last days of war damaged the gate, but it has been rebuilt to its former beauty, as you can see. The state border behind this gate. And the district of Tiergarten on the other side, maybe you have seen it. The Hohenzollern dynasty, which ruled over 500 years here in Germany. Frederick II commissioned his architect Wenceslaus von Knobelsdorff to create a Lindenforum, which forms an architectural whole, enclosing the August Bebel Square on the right and the Court of Honor in front of the Humboldt University left, and all buildings around a unity. A focal point of the Linen Forum is the German State Opera House, the former Royal Opera House, the building in front, right hand, the building with columns in front of itself. It was designed by Knobelsdorff 250 years ago in classicistic style of architecture, like a Greek temple. Inside in Rococo style. The opera has had a turbulent past. It burned out for 2 times of the last century as a new guardhouse. Opposite on the right, maybe you have the street under den Linden Endziel, and we like to pass the former Castle Bridge, today Marx Engels Bridge. The statues, the 4 on each side, were also created according to plans by Schinkel. And we like to come to the former castle square. There used to be the Hohenzollern castle. It was damaged in World War II, was abolished, and was built up a new palace, Palace of the Republic. There's a white building with the brown windows in front. Inside there is our people's chamber working, our parliament, our government. There's also a big hall for culture performance, a little theater inside, a gallery and nice restaurants for everybody open daily. The State Council building on the right hand side, Erich Honecker, our head of state works inside. And left the Museum Island with the oldest museum in the city, also called the Old Museum with columns in front, left by Schinkel too. City Railway Station Alexander Square. We like to see the square. Modernized in the 60s too. The big department store on the right. Written Centrum on top of it. You can buy their consumer goods. Good for our daily life. Left, the Press Print Center. 12 different publishers have the domicile inside, mainly well-known newspapers, magazines. Our biggest hotel, Interhotel Stadt Berlin on the right. It has a possibility to accommodate 2,000 people. Let's enter Karl Marx Avenue, former Stalin Avenue. It's nearly Berlin's east-west thoroughfare. It was erected in 2 sections. This one here, because at the moment, in the 60s, the May Day rallies Unterfass Straußberger Square. Housing is a matter for the state, and we have to work for this. But all the apartments, the flats are well equipped with modern heating, inside lavatory, warm water, and what is very important, the rents are very low and stable. We have to pay for 1 square meter not more than 1 mark and 25 pfennigs per month. And then very important way of transport. The building beneath the television tower in front of us, and the other one left. a press cafe in front of us. And in front, in the back, you can also see some dark buildings, some remains of the old tenement houses. Alexander Square was also a city of tenement houses in former times. The ministry for headquarters of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs left this modern building with the white stripes. We come to the street on the Linden, and now we are on the way to the Pergamon Museum. The Pergamon Museum was the first museum of antique architecture in the world at all. And the museum contains a lot of exhibitions. It is a huge complex. Perhaps you know it's also possible to come to the city on your own, or you can come on foot over Checkpoint Charlie or by City Railway underground or Friedrichstraße station. You just need your passport and you have to exchange 25 marks for one day, but you can stay the whole day and it pays, I think, to have a walk for your own along the street and to look into the shops, into the buildings at all in the museums and peace and quiet. Much better than seeing the sights from a coach.
sleeping in the pipe tent, man. Yo. Hey. Hey, yo, man. Who's sleeping in the pipe tent? You know why you're paying, right? No.